Typically, January and February are normally pretty slow times in the Saskatoon real estate market, but not this year. Would you believe me if I said that the average sale price rose by $10,000 in the first 30 days of 2024? My name's Ryan Guenther, and I'm a local realtor here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, with Realty Executives. If you find any of this information helpful in my video and want to connect with me farther, I'll leave all my contact information in the description box below, or you can drop me a comment and I'd be happy to chat with you there. The first 30 days of 2024 saw an increase of 22% more sales while having 12% less listings. So a lot of sales without a whole lot of inventory. And if we think about January at the same time in 2023 last year, the average sale price was $347, whereas now it is $385. In this video, I'll go into detail what's exactly happening with the detached homes, townhouses, and condos, and then explain what price ranges in each are experiencing the most pressure. At the start of the video, I had mentioned that the average sale price in Saskatoon for 2023 at the end of the year was $375,000. In the first 30 days of 2024, the average sale price has risen to $385,000. Who knows if that will stay consistent, of course, across all the months of the year, but it is something to note that in what would normally be a slower time of year in January, and it is slower on the listing side, there is a lot of sales that drove the average price up $10,000 in a single month. And in mentioning all the sales that happened in January, there was a total of 245 sales in Saskatoon in the month of January, which is more sales than in 2023's January, as well as 2022's January. And something to note, in 2022, interest would have been at sub 2%, and we were still able to outpace the amount of sales this past January of 24. And in order to have sales, you need listings, right? Right and wrong. You don't need a high active count if all the good stuff sells really quickly. And to start out the month of February here, right at the beginning of this month, we have 694 active listings, but when you compare that to last year in January, there was 873 active listings. So we've got quite a few less listings, even though we technically have more sales happening in Saskatoon. And of those 694 active listings, 494 are detached, with 200 being condos. And if you start looking at the detached that's under 500,000, it gets even slimmer. Of the 200 condos, 67 of them are townhouse, which would be your attached row-style townhouse, with 133 being condo. So in the entire city of Saskatoon, west and east side, there is only 67 townhomes available. Some of my previous market update videos, I always mention the sales to list ratio, which is essentially what percentage of houses that get listed get sold. So for the month of January, which year to date will be the same as month to date because it's just the first month of the year, the sales to list ratio was 67.3%, which is right on par with what we finished 2023 at. So even with low listings, lots of sales happening, almost 7 out of every 10 listings or homes that get listed end up getting sold, which is a very, very, very high number. And outside of closing 2023 out at that number, the highest it's ever been since then would have been in 07-08 with the giant boom. And earlier I had mentioned that the average sale price comparing January of last year to January of this year has went from $347 for an average sale price to $385, which is a $38,000 increase. But let's break it down in terms of where each side's seeing that, whether it's the detached, townhouse, or condo, seeing the highest increase in prices comparing last year at the same time and this year. And this will also give you a decent idea of what the pressure all throughout 2023 that's carrying into 2024 is doing with the prices in the specific types of homes. So on the detached side of things, the average sale price on a detached home in Saskatoon for January 2024 is $438,000, and in 2023 it was $411,000. So that's majority of that $38K bump would be on the detached that would be in line with it. Next up, we have the townhouses, with the average sale price in January 2024 being $331,000, and in January of last year, it was $291,000. So that's an increase of $40,000. And I can say, with there only being 67 townhouses available in the city, that is the one style of home that has really skyrocketed in price. For instance, back in 2016, there was quite a few townhouses built in some of the newer neighborhoods in Saskatoon, and the builders could barely give them away at the time for what they were trying to sell them for. And now, a lot of those townhouses are going for prices that we never ever thought they would even eclipse. And finally, on the condo side of things, your average sale price in January of 2024 was $224,000, almost $225,000. And for January last year, $199,000. So we're up about $25,000 there. Obviously, the detached and the townhouses have seen the biggest increase in prices. But if you're a prospective buyer, you probably want to know which price ranges are seeing the pressure the most in this past month. So on the detached side of things, it would be anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000, but in that $100,000 gap there. As of the start of February, there was 59 active listings in that price range in Saskatoon for the detached home. And in January, there was 56 sales in that price range, which gives you a month's supply, or more commonly known as an absorption rate, of just over 1. So that is nowhere near enough inventory for the demand that you can see people buying up those houses for. So this would be a lot of your better stuff on the west side of the city, and pretty much any entry or starting home for the most part on the east side between $300,000 and $400,000. One interesting thing to note is the $400,000 to $450,000 price range on the detached side of homes. Typically in Saskatoon, the $400,000 to $450,000 range on the detached is not a whole lot different than the $350,000 to $400,000 price range. But as of February 1st, there was 65 active homes in that $400,000 to $450,000 range, with only 12 sales in January. So that's kind of surprising, because that means there's an absorption rate of 5.4, and there's quite a bit of product, for whatever reason, in that $400,000 to $450,000, at least presently, at the time of making this video. And then on the condo side, and when I say condo, I'm grouping apartment style condos with townhouses, because technically there's still a condo fee associated with all of them. Your most competitive price range for the past month would be between $300,000 and $350,000. So this would be all your townhouses for the most part. There'll be some actual apartment style condos mixed in there. But most of your east side townhouses that I talked about had went up quite a bit in price over the last year. That's where you'd be shopping here. So 16 actives as of February 1st with 13 sales in January means an absorption rate of 1.2, which again is nowhere near the amount of inventory needed for the demand. And with 67 active townhouses in the city total, I think that that price range and that product is going to remain very, very, very competitive. So I know sometimes these market reports seem like a little bit of a doom and gloom, but at the end of the day, only roughly about 1/3 of the listings go at or above the list price. So it's not like every single property is going way, way over list. However, the majority of the good stuff, if you're a buyer waiting around for new stuff to come to the market, so are a lot of other buyers. So you're competing more often than not. But it's not like every single property is going way, way, way over the list price. So again, my name's Ryan Guenther. I'm a local realtor here with Realty Executives Saskatoon. If you found any of this information helpful or want a little bit more detailed stuff, specific price ranges, neighborhoods, get in touch with me. All my contact information is in the description box below, or drop me a comment and I'll connect with you there. Look forward to chatting soon.